Today we talk about emotional intelligence. Lots of people online are talking about after 30 in the dating market, no one is dateable, no one is normal. And the normal they're talking about is not even like people are way too ugly after 30 or people way too poor after 30. It represents something deeper, is a deal breaking deeper reasons. And if you take time to conclude all people's feedback, and it's all about one thing: emotional maturity or emotional intelligence. Or even lots of people, they break up or divorce normally is for the same reason. And today we're going to go through the 3 signs a person with high emotional intelligence and some tips to improve it. In the end, we're going to cover a little bit about boundaries. Because when someone are extremely emotional intelligence, when they're doing so over the board, they're using this intelligence to manipulate and become emotional manipulations, which I think is the most important part of the whole video. So, what is the 3 signs of someone are extremely mature in emotions and intelligence? First is they understand their own emotions. It may sound very simple and easy, but is extremely difficult for most people to do. For example, there's a 2 way of people feeling to notice their emotions. First type of people, you 100% met them in life before, is regardless how they feel, they only express their emotion through anger. For example, I remember my friend was telling me their parents fighting all the time. But that they fight, it actually very interests me. It's not because I care about their relationship. It's because the way they make conversation make me understand emotions better. The dad will always come home late, drinking with his friend until 1 o'clock at night. When he come back, the mother will be extremely pissed, saying something on the line like, "Oh, you still know you need to come back? Why don't you just go outside, sleep on the street, and may as well die?" But you know that the mother at the moment, I'm not defending the dad, of course. I think, the dad should be a little bit more responsible, whatever. But the mother, she actually feel unsafe. She want to be loved. She feel lonely. She feel worried about the dude. But the word come out of her mouth is all angry. That she's pointing finger at the father and try to kick him away. If I'm the father and I come home having a good time with my friend, hearing my partner saying such a thing, I'm actually thinking that she want me to gone. If you're one of the people who, regardless how you feel, all you express is anger, and it's probably not your fault. There's even a medical term for it called alexithymia. Basically means when you grow up, your parents never told or teach you the vocabulary of emotions. If you don't express them, you stop feeling them. Language is a tool that we use to communicate and to build interconnection with others. But sometimes this tool can also control us. When we don't know those vocabulary or they don't frequently come up in our brain, we stop feeling in that way. So if you suffer from this, the best way to practice is actually to enunciate emotional vocabularies. Especially for those people who have a hard time to say I love you. If you don't say I love you, you don't feel loved. Second type of people who don't understand their own emotions is they are literally emotional unavailable. You hear this term most time to the partner with a significant others who literally feels like no matter what you talk to them, it feels like you're talking to a wall. Even then they say, "Oh yeah, that's terrible." But you feel they never understood you. They could be thinking all the time and don't have time to feel how you feel. They may be busy or stressed over lots of things all the time. So they cannot connect with you on emotional level. The reason why lots of people who are emotional unavailable is they're using one thing in their brain called stress. When a human feeling stress, the emotional part of your brain is literally shut down. Just like in the hunting-gathering age, when you saw a tiger, you don't have time to be surprised. You have the stress hormone and you start running. But lots of people are afraid to connect with their own emotions, to face their own emotions. So they are using, let's say, alcohol or work or worry about something that would never exist to numb their own feelings. And then for people who struggle with this, the most important part is actually to figure out why you have a hard time to channel with your feelings. One of the most common thing, of course, you can write a whole essay to it, but most common thing happen to people that have a hard time to connect to emotions. It's actually because when they grow up, their parents always shut you down when you express any negative emotions. That kid's hurt me. You said, I hate him. Your mom will come up and say, oh, don't say that. Everybody are different. But when you don't feel hate, you sort of don't feel love. When you say, I hate this. This is not fun. This is upset me greatly. Your mom will say, oh, don't say that. That's rude. When you don't feel upset, you also don't feel happy. They ended up making people emotional unavailable. But of course, there could be a variety of sources that is your own journey. Second biggest sign of people have high emotional intelligence is actually that they understand others' emotions. Lots of people, they are not comfortable to be vulnerable, especially time of arguments. Or a lot of people just not feel comfortable to talk about emotions in general. For example, I have a conversation with my dad. I was telling him that I'm doing videos, content creations. He told me that you will never succeed and blah, blah, blah. But after the conversation after conversation, he actually don't think it that way. He think I will succeed. He think he's supporting me. He willing to do anything to see me succeed in this career. The reason why lots of time he telling me this is basically the way he's saying that, oh, I'm worried about you. But lots of people take the face value of other words because they are not able to pick up the emotional behind it, which makes someone low emotional intelligence. But this term, emotional intelligence, is not like IQ that you cannot change. It is almost a skill to practice. And some people practice a little more than others. To branch out a little bit, some people practice a little more. Most time is because, for example, in one of the family members, they get easy irritated. So they have the skills to catch up any small emotions of the irritated or toxic parents. And they make them superhumans. So you don't have to be jealous of people with high emotional intelligence because sometimes the price to pay is very high. And let's do the last sign. The last sign of people with emotional maturity and emotional intelligence is they can't accept others' emotions. There's a study has conducted find that a lot of people, when they speak or communicate with others, a big part of the population, they only use half the brain, the logic language part of the brain, to process these conversations. And there's also another part of people, they use both part of the brain. Another part that is active is actually process creativities and emotions. And this is highly correlated to gender and age. But in my opinion, it is a skill that you can change. It's not you born with, it's you prefer with. Most clear example is you 100% have those kind of struggles and you have to talk to your best friend. For example, my husband cheated, should I divorce with him? And you get two type of friends. The first type of friends is only use half of the brain. the logic part. Say, oh, then you should divorce with him. Say, what do you mean I should divorce with him? You think it's that easy? How about the kids? The friend will be, oh, then just stay with him. Stay with him? What do you mean stay with him? Can you stay with him? Regardless what they say are wrong because they're only using the logic part. Oh, there's only two options. Oh, you go for first one. Oh, first one don't work. Maybe second one. But the real high emotional intelligence friends, which is the second type, literally will say nothing, just holding your hand, and make you feel understood. Besides the problem of people sometimes only use their logic brain without emotional brain, there's another reason sometimes people have a hard time to accept others' emotions. It's because they have a trauma back then. Certain topic is unspeakable. Certain emotions is unspeakable because it will trigger horrible flashback. And this is the part that I think is extremely difficult to deal with because it's literally a own journey of every individuals. So if you guys interested, I may make several videos in futures. In the end, I want to talk about boundaries. We all covered about, who's intelligent, who's not, how can I become more intelligent? That's great. But the most important thing is sometimes when we looking for someone in the market is normal, is emotional available, is emotional mature. For the sake of reason of making me feel more comfortable. It almost become a criteria to buy a product. For example, I want the jeans to be salvaged. I want the window to be tinted. I want the sunglasses to have these features. It's the same parameter than when you're looking for another partner for the sake of your own comfortableness. And lots of people actually decode this kind of interrelationship, consumer products relationship. Most clear example is there's multiple documentary about how people on Tinder dating 30 women in the same time, bring them on private jet, and scrap their credit card and put them in debt of $1 million. When we become an emotional, intelligent person, the path or the goal is not to, I will feel more comfortable, or I can have more love partners, sex partners. When we doing for the sake of product consuming and to benefit myself, suddenly it is emotional manipulations. And it's not even damage for the people who you try to be with together or you try to have sex together. It's even damage for yourself. Because when you see other people as a product, there's no others. There's also no self because there's nothing to compare with. Just like I mentioned before, if there's no happy, there's no sad. If there's no hate, there's no love. If there's no others, you treat others like product. You inevitably make yourself into material too. The thing that losing is not make other people sad, is losing yourself. In the end, for the people who want to become more emotional intelligence and emotional mature, and you should do it for love. You should do it for making other people feel more comfortable. It's not because he buy me expensive stuff or she cook for me or whatever. It's for the sake of because I love her and I want to make her feel better. And that's all for today's video. My name is Paul. I really hope you learned something today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.